Hello and welcome back, and today I want to talk about The Walking Dead Dead City Season 2, and now that we have this trailer, I want to do some predictions on what I think will happen in the second season, because I think we can, using the trailer, get a good idea what the story will be about. So let's jump right into this with what I think the overall story is going to be about, and I definitely think that on the Negan side, it is very clear. It will start off with Negan being very reluctant, but we know there's a time jump, so at some point Negan's going to have to accept he is Savior Negan, and it's about him making law and order. It's very clear that Negan is about bringing Manhattan together and unifying it under the new saviors, basically. And on the Maggie side, it seems like I was a bit confused. How is she going to get back into the story? How are they going to ride back in? And it seems Maggie's going to be dragged into this whole plot because of Perlie. And I think Perlie is going to use Maggie to get back onto Manhattan and going to prepare Manhattan for the arrival of New Babylon. And I think that's the premise of Perlie in Season 2. And he will be, like Maggie was the catalyst of Season 1, making sure that everything happens. I do think Perlie will have that role in Season 2 to try and get Maggie and Negan back together. Because I don't think that Maggie in Season 2 will willingly go, okay, I need to go get Negan. I think she is being brought along by Perlie to head to Manhattan. Because we do see Perlie and Maggie in a scene in the trailer. And it looks like, and I believe, this is Perlie recruiting Maggie to his mission. And that's how I think everything gets set off in this season. I definitely do think that they're using Kim Coates' character to replace Negan as a villain, because we do see Maggie and Negan together. And I do think, in my prediction, is that Maggie and Negan get together near the end of the season, and Negan will switch sides to join Perlie and the New Babylons. I do think that Season 1 felt like it was setting up as villains. Maybe Season 2, they won't be villains, and Kim Coates will become the new villain with the Croat and the Dharma. And moving forwards, it will be Maggie and Negan on the New Babylon side, fighting the Croat and the Barazzi. That's what I think is going to happen, and that's how I think Season 2 is going to play out, with Negan being kind of the bad guy for most of the season, but he's going to be replaced and switch sides by Kim Coates' character. And I do think the Croat's going to die. I think that's going to happen, because we do see a scene with Maggie holding Lucille looking down. I do personally believe they are not going to give Maggie to not give her a almost line-up head bashing moment. And I do think the best character for that would be the Croat. Give her someone to bash the skull in, and that's why I think the Croat's going to die. Maggie's going to Glen him. That's what I think's going to happen. It'd be dumb if they just give Maggie the bat. She doesn't do anything iconic with it. So I do think the Croat will die from Lucille. And talking about the bat, I cannot ignore that it's clear. I believe that this is the same Lucille. In the shots we're getting from this, we can see that Lucille has cracks down it. And we can see it's being held together by a piece of metal on the side. It's also got the power to electrocute people now. But most importantly, this is somehow the same Lucille which Negan snapped in half and then burned in a fireplace. So somehow the Croat has gone back to Virginia and found the same Lucille, and it somehow survived being burnt. It seems this bat has more plot armor than a lot of the original cast of The Walking Dead. It probably has more plot armor than Maggie and Negan themselves, because how is this bat still around? I definitely do believe, that's my prediction, this will somehow be the same bat but modified, because why would he walk around with a bat this damaged? It's not Lucille 2.0, this is Lucille redug out the grave and resurrected. Some of the predictions I have, it all surrounds Herschel. I definitely do believe, because we do see Herschel, and he is going to be on Manhattan, but Maggie is going to be unaware of him until they reunite there. So I think that Herschel's going to have a whole plot, and I think he's going to have a darker storyline, because we do see Herschel with the Dharma, but we also see Herschel training. So I think Herschel's going to try and go and kill Negan, and Jenny is tagging along, and they will end up running back into Maggie in Manhattan. That's what I think is going to happen. And then you have all these characters dealing with this all-out war between New Babylon, or the start of the war, with skirmishes happening between New Babylon and Perlie, and Negan and the Saviors. And I definitely think, as I said before, that Negan's going to switch sides and it'll be Kim Coates as the main villain, as they are not going to keep Negan and Maggie on opposing sides for years and years and years. It would be really dumb, and it's clear that these characters just cannot stay away from each other, so that's what I think is going to happen, and that's how I think the season's going to play out, with both Negan and Maggie being enemies at first, but I think by episode 6 or 7, we know Lucille, the actor, will return. Jeffrey D. Moore's actual wife will return to be Lucille in episode 7. So I think episode 7 will be when Negan changes sides and joins Maggie and Perlie. And Kim Coates' character will step up and be the main villain of the final episode of season 2 and setting up season 3. And that's how I think this season is going to play out. It is kind of a buffer season because season 1 was setting up the Negan thing. They're kind of just going to mess around for a lot because they can't go into war. They'll set up a little war, but I think this is the march to war season. And by the end of the season, Negan and Maggie are finally teamed up with New Babylon and Perlie, or just with Perlie, and the war will start in season 3, and we'll get big battles then, and it will be the fight for Manhattan, because I think season 2 is just building up the armies for the Saviors. And that is just what I believe is going to happen in season 2. So please tell me down below, do you think I missed anything? Do you think there's any plot lines that are very clearly shown in the trailers or anything we know about this season that I haven't mentioned? This is it for me today, so thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you later.